Hi, I'm Ztarli, and in this video I'll be drawing a fire behemoth from the game Day of Dragons. So Be Awesome Games recently decided to release some images of the early concept of the fire behemoth dragon. So I decided that I would draw my own fan art of this dragon in my own style and put my own spin on the design. Now just keep in mind that the design is still a concept, so they could still make some very large changes to the dragon and it could end up looking completely different. And this drawing is purely my own interpretation of the early concept that has already been released. So I started with a base sketch and then decided to actually draw the individual scales that would be covering the dragon, as it has lots of these large long plates along its entire body. And I decided to help with the definition of these scales that I would actually sketch them out properly instead of doing what I usually do, which is just make a smooth coloured surface and then paint the scales directly on it. Because these scales are so raised, I thought it would be better for me to properly define them before moving on to the colouring stage. Now in the released images of the fire behemoth, the dragon is bipedal and is shown to be walking on two legs with its hands sort of in the position like a T-Rex would have them, but they are very large, and so I sort of imagined that it wouldn't be unusual for it to place its hands on the ground occasionally, especially if it was like sniffing or looking for something, or maybe just resting before moving on to another area. So I decided to draw one of the hands on actually laying on the ground, and you can see that's the one in behind on the other side, the far side of the dragon is placed on the ground there, and it's sort of resting before it decides to move on to another place. If I get time down the track, I'm thinking about doing like a battle between an ice behemoth and a fire behemoth. I think that'd be pretty cool and could look pretty colossal with them sort of grappling with each other and biting each other, trying to take each other down. But being as that would be two large dragons in an action scene, it would take me a lot longer than just this simple posed one dragon. And I don't always have a lot of time, so that one's on the back burner for now. And we just got, you just get this this fire behemoth for now. I do have some other videos in the works as well. I tend to have spurts of free time, so I'll maybe have one weekend where I have a lot of free time, so I do a bunch of videos at once and then slowly release them over time, just to make sure that I still continue to produce content for everybody and you have something new to look at each week. Now I've moved on to colouring the dragon. I kind of like took my own liberties for this one. I did use the original, like the concept art as the base, and then I kind of just started colouring in my own way, and colours kind of tend to get like a bit, I tend to change them a bit as I'm colouring because I'm mixing in different shadows and different highlights, and if you've watched my other videos, you'll notice I don't use black and whites for highlights, so putting in coloured shadows and coloured highlights does affect the actual colour of the picture. So it's not exactly the same colours, but I kind of like not doing things exactly the same colours because different light sorts and different, there's lots of different factors can affect the colour of a creature. So maybe this is just a different dragon, it just has slightly different color tone, or the lighting's a bit different and that kind of thing. I'm on to painting now, and I struggled a little bit with deciding on like what kind of texture to paint into these scales to begin with, and then I settled down on this sort of like adding this very high highlight in just a few places and trying to keep a bit of the texture I'd added into the picture earlier on in the piece. The colors now are starting to look, in my opinion, a lot like Zerg from StarCraft. I kind of didn't notice till later, but they're kind of the same color, that brownish sort of cockroach color on top, and this weird pinky purpley fleshy color underneath. You know what, I really like Zerg, so I don't mind that it ended up looking kind of Zergish. I found painting this lighter colour in between the scales also helped define the larger sort of plate scales from each other, and I do like the effect that that had, but I do get a bit lazy in this picture and I couldn't be bothered doing every single scale, so some of these scales just get left behind and left as is. But you know what, that's alright, because I'd drawn the actual sketch for each individual scale already, so they were already kind of defined by the sketch, so I don't think the picture loses anything about with me not doing every single individual scale shaded properly, and it's just for fun anyway. It's not like, you know, no one was paying me to do this particular piece. I just wanted to do it because I wanted to do it. So you know, if I'm happy with the level of shading, coloring, then that's all that really matters, and I did have fun doing it, so yeah. This picture actually didn't take me as long as it appears to. It only took me just a little over 2.5 hours. So considering like I was drawing each individual scale, I think I did rather well keeping it under the 3-hour mark. And I did, as I said before, I had lots of fun doing it, and I don't think I wasted too much time doing the scales. I think I did the scales just enough that, you know, you can clearly see what they are and they're defined enough. And in a moment I'll be doing the background. Now there's a couple of backgrounds I'm quite very practiced at doing at the moment. One of them is a snowy background and the other one is a lava field. So this didn't take me long at all. I actually really enjoy doing lava now. I have this, you know, my brush that I created, this textured brush that I use for pretty much every background ever now. I just love using it. And I really enjoy making this lava color. So generally it's just like starting with an almost black background, and then you have a very dark red, sort of a burgundy sort of color, and then you just build up the colors from there. So you go to, you know, to red and then orange, then yellow, and then a very, very light yellow for the hottest parts of the lava. And then I just paint back over it with the darker, like the blacks and stuff again, and highlights the rocks with a grey. Now, lava fields are quite toxic, and obviously there's a lot of heat coming off them, so it makes a lot of sense to put a lot of mist or steam or smoke coming up from the lava fields themselves, which is what I did for the rest of this background. And I just used this sort of smoky clouds to hide the horizon line there, so you can't really see where the fields end that much. And then I just placed this high highlight on the bottom of the dragon, so that it sort of fits in with the background a bit more, and you can kind of tell it's, you know, it's standing over a light source. It's standing over the lava. He's a fire dragon, so, well, yeah, I think this is the male one. Actually, I'm not sure. I should find that out. But it wouldn't be very affected by the lava since it is a fire dragon. Getting close to the end now, so I'm just doing some final adjustments to tie it into the background more, make it look like it's more part of the background rather than just the pictures that's been slapped on top. So, you know, I put in some of the sky color on the tops of the scales, and I dull back the limbs behind the dragon. I also put a bit of dirt in front of those feet, so it actually looks like they're on the ground. And I make sure some of the mist is in front of it as well. I also do some adjustments using brightness and contrast and hue and saturation. It is pretty much done, or it is done, and I think it looks good. I like it. I'm happy with it. Well, thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give me a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I always have a Patreon if you'd like to support me. See you all next time. Bye!